What's up everyone, my name is Sam. Thanks so much for joining the Sanjana Fitness YouTube channel. Today's Hatha Yoga beginner's level flow is going to be focused on renewal, rejuvenation, rebirth. So if you are somewhere along your healing journey or just ready to embrace change or your next chapter, this practice is for you. You won't need any blocks or props today, but feel free to grab a pillow for meditation if you want to. When you're ready, I'll meet you in the middle of the mat in a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Okay, so coming down to the mat, finding your comfortable cross-legged seat or modified seat to drop in. Feel free to grab a pillow for under your hips if it feels good. Get yourself set up, get yourself settled in. And we'll just start to drop in as usual, beginning by just noticing the bodies, the breath, how you're feeling today in all of the bodies, the physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual bodies, whatever those mean to you. Checking in with the quality of breath, just noticing what you feel and where. Remember that this practice is yours, so make it your own. If you want to take a mudra with your hands, or bring palms together at the heart space, or just let them rest in your lap, whatever feels right for you today. And right away start to notice the quality of your inhales, connecting with the fullness of your exhales. Start to establish that deeper connection with the breath, which will be important in this practice, important in renewal. Notice if there's a little ripple in your mind, in the surface of your mind, and if so, what's causing that? Try to quiet the mind and come into this present moment. Just dropping into this body, this time, this space. And just starting to create this space for yourself. Again, just noticing. Might think about how to frame your practice today. You might take a mantra related to renewal or regrowth or rebirth, or related to healing. It could be something like, I embrace growth and change, or I am healing with every breath. Start to envision, imagine this little bubble of self-care, of personal growth, of spiritual growth, whatever it is that brings you here today. Just encompassing your mat and your whole being. Check in with your spinal alignment. Make sure you can take some nice deep breaths. Nice and long through the spine. Maybe tucking the chin a little bit, pulling the shoulders down and back. And otherwise just settling in. You can remain here as long as it takes to quiet the mind and settle the body. Take your time. Find that stillness. Get grounded through the mat, through the earth, before we incorporate movement. Reconnect to those cleansing breaths. Just feeling the expansion of the lungs and the natural movement of the body on your inhale. Maybe expelling, letting go of something that you don't need on your exhales. Letting go of whatever might be distracting you. Memories from the past or worries about the future. Just letting go of those for now. Giving yourself permission to let go and to be here now. When you found that stillness and that connection to your mantra, to the breath, to the earth, you can keep your eyes closed or gently bat them open. And we'll start to incorporate movement just by drawing small circles in a clockwise direction with the tip of your nose. Starting to articulate through the cervical spine as you slowly broaden that circle. And again, just noticing, just observing. Moving slowly toward your next chapter or the next step in your journey. Noticing what you see, what you hear, what you feel without judgment. And just making that circle wider and wider as it suits you. And then maybe just incorporating other easy organic movement through the head and neck. Checking in. Maybe reversing those circles when you feel ready. Same thing on the second side, just noticing. Take your time to move through it organically, so just listen to your body and offer what it's asking for. Your time with this movement, if it feels good or if your body requires a little more today. And when you feel satisfied, we'll slowly close that circle, getting smaller and smaller, coming back through center. Take your time. And then eventually finding stillness, finding that nice long spine, tucking the chin a little bit. Once you get there, we'll move on to the next step by bringing the palms together in front of the heart space. So you can just bring your fingertips to face me, with your elbows at full extension. And we'll open the hands up wide, moving the palms away from each other and somewhere behind your back. Just opening up through the chest, checking in, finding a nice big stretch. And then slowly bringing the palms toward one another. Arms parallel to the earth. We'll bring the right hand under the left and bring the fingertips to the upper back or the back of the shoulders. Maybe walking them closer to each other. Finding yourself with stacked elbows here. We'll reconnect with the breath. On your next inhale, we'll lift the elbows, get long through the spine, take up space. And as you exhale, curl inward, bringing the elbows in toward the low ribs. Stretching through the upper back, feeling the warmth of your own embrace. Relaxing through the head and the neck. And we'll take a few moments here just to enjoy the depth of your inhales. The completeness of your exhales. And the sensation of your own embrace as we meet ourselves in this moment. Bring your awareness to the sits bones as you root down through the pelvis, through the lumbar spine, and slowly curl up, lifting the elbows back up to chest height, unraveling the arms, moving the palms away from each other and behind the back one more time, stretching through the chest. And then going to the second side, we'll slowly bring the palms back toward one another. This time the opposite palm underneath. I'm going to bring my left underneath the right. Hands coming to the back of the shoulders, upper back, stacking the elbows. Lifting up on your next inhale. Letting something go as you exhale and curl inward. Relaxing through the head and the neck. Releasing everything into your own embrace. Meeting your mind and body where they are on your healing journey or journey toward renewal. Try to imagine a little plant or a tree rooting down through the earth as you do so. Slowly building up, getting long through the spine, springing to life, opening up the arms, taking up space, bringing the palms together behind the back, toward one another behind the back. And then bringing the palms back to the knees, taking a second to check in. And then we'll come forward onto all fours for our cat-cow iteration. Take your time, center yourself in your middle of your mat. Palms will be under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Nice neutral spine here as we sync up with the breath. On your inhale, drop the belly, tilt the pelvis, lift the gaze. And on your exhale, press into the palms, pressing into the tops of the feet. Low ribs come inward, pushing up toward the ceiling, toward the spine. Inhale, drop the belly. And move at your own pace, according to the rhythm of your inhales and exhales. Just releasing that potential energy in the spine. Starting with the basics, one step at a time, as we do with all of our journeys in life. When you feel satisfied there and take your time, we'll come into child's pose, the traditional version or extended. So for traditional, you can bring the shins and the knees together in the middle of the mat. Send the hips back toward the heels. Bring the forehead down to the earth and then open up the palms on either side of the feet. For the extended version, we'll bring the big toes into touch, knees as wide as the yoga mat. Also sending the hips back toward the heels, this time walking the palms away from the body. Full extension at the elbows as you melt the chest and forehead down to the mat. Take this time to reconnect with your inner child and give that child the nurturing, the love, and the care that they needed. Stay connected to the breath, maybe your mantra if you have one. Notice the connections to the earth and the support of the earth beneath you. You might think of yourself as a dormant seed in this pose, ready to start again and spring to life, but only at your own pace. Take a few more cycles of breath just to turn inward. You can stay here and remain in your seed-like state for as long as you like. Remember, it's your practice. Make it your own. When you're ready to move on, let's start to spring to life by noticing the energy in your fingers and your hands. As you press into them, lifting the head and chest off the mat if you're in extended child's pose, or if you're in traditional. I'm walking my hands toward the body from extended child's pose, but we will all meet on the shins, knees together, feet together, hips sitting back on the heels. We'll come all the way upright, that nice long spine again. Maybe roll the shoulders back, reconnect with some deep breaths. You might bring the left hand behind the spine, planting the fingertips, bringing the right hand to the outside edge of the left knee, left thigh, pulling that left shoulder back for a little spinal twist. And then we'll switch to that second side, bringing the left hand to the outside edge of the right knee, right hand behind you this time. Pulling that right shoulder back, maybe looking over the right shoulder, getting ready for your growth, for your next steps. We'll gently release and come back through center. From here, we're going to come into downward dog. So you can lean forward onto the palms. We'll rotate the fingertips slightly away from one another so the inside of your elbows are facing forward. Lean forward and curl the toes under. We'll press into all 10 toes, moving slowly, gently, mindfully. And then we will extend through the knees and at the hips, sending the hips up toward the ceiling and heels toward the floor. They do not need to touch the floor. As always, feel free to bend into the knees if you're feeling tight through the posterior chain, through the hamstrings. Feel free to bend into one knee at a time. Take a moment here, reconnect with the breath. And then we'll plant the heels on the ground and slowly walk the fingertips up toward the feet, coming into a standing forward fold. Once again, relaxing through the head, the neck, and the shoulders. Take a moment here just to enjoy this change of perspective. And then we're getting ready to spring up and grow like a plant, breaking the soil surface and taking up space. So we're going to do that by slowly dragging the fingertips along the front edge of the body. Move as slowly as you can here. It's hard to notice plant growth each day at a time. So they move really slow, but they do so much. That's what's happening here. Nice and slow. Starting to curl up. Beginning to take up space. We'll come all the way up to Tadasana. Rolling the shoulders back. Getting nice and long through the spine, open through the chest, tucking the chin a little bit. Take a nice deep inhale and let something go on your exhale. Good. On your next inhale, we'll bring the palms all the way up and overhead, taking up space as you do so, really reaching, really blooming here. Stretching out your branches, bringing palms together overhead. And then keeping the palms together, we'll slowly bring those palms all the way down the middle, past the heart space, coming all the way back down to the floor. Slowly, gently, mindfully. Once the fingertips reach the floor, we're going to drag the fingertips along the front of the body one more time, but this time we're just going to lift halfway. So instead of coming all the way up, you're coming into kind of this L shape, number 7 shape, however you want to picture it. You can bring the palms to the front of the thigh here, pulling the shoulders back again, getting long through the spine. You can also just keep the hands on the knees or on some blocks or props if you have those accessible to you. Holding that for just a moment. Noticing what you feel. We'll melt the palms back down to the mat. Walking the hands out for plank pose. You can also send the feet back if that's where you're spaced on your mat, that's fine. From that plank pose, we're going to come into chaturanga, followed by up dog, or cobra, whatever's in your practice. So chaturanga is this half flexion at the elbow, holding here. We'll shift forward on the toes, coming onto the tops of the feet, pushing the hips down toward the earth, opening up through the chest, or doing cobra here. I'm in upward dog. Take a deep breath. Let something go. And we'll curl the toes under again, sending the hips back up toward the ceiling, Coming back into your downward dog. Good, let's do that one more time by walking the hands up toward the feet once again. Back in that standing forward fold here. Whatever version of it works for your body today. Once again, we'll connect with the breath, and on your inhale, drag the fingertips along the front line of the body, so along the shins, eventually passing the knee, the thigh, slowly moving all the way up to Tadasana, mountain pose, rolling the shoulders back, opening up through the chest. Maybe take a mudra for a second. And then we'll bring the palms together overhead, taking up space as you do, reaching your branches up toward the sun, and bringing palms together overhead. We'll slice it down the middle, lowering the palms, connected all the way back down to the mat. Releasing the hands back to the mat here. On your next inhale, we'll come into that halfway lift, bringing the palms up to the front of the thighs. Pulling the shoulders back, checking in, noticing what you feel. Letting something go on your exhale. Release the hands back to the mat. One more time, we'll vinyasa. So walk the hands away from the feet to come into plank pose. Once there, we'll move into chaturanga. That's that half flexion at the elbows. And then you can go into cobra by lowering all the way down or shift onto the tops of the feet. And extend the elbows for upward facing dog. Reconnect with the breath. Curl the toes under. Send the hips back up toward the ceiling for your second downward dog. So from here, we're just gonna enjoy downward dog for a moment in whatever way is accessible and meaningful to you in your practice today. So I like to lift my right hand off the mat and grab the outside edge of my left calf or shin, just to look under the left shoulder toward the ceiling or toward that wall, toward you in this case. Enjoying that change of perspective and interesting sensations in the body. Release that when you're ready, and we'll do the same thing on the second side by sinking the weight into that right palm and lifting the left. And then bringing that left palm to the outside edge of the right calf. Maybe checking out what's behind you. Noticing this perspective change, embracing it. Coming back to the mat. Feel free again to bend into the knees, maybe one at a time, walking through the feet like that. Or maybe just find stillness. Once you do, we'll bring that left foot to the midline of the mat and raise the right foot up toward the ceiling for three-legged dog. Shift your gaze to between the palms and bend into that right knee as you bring that right foot all the way up and through, and then slowly lower the left knee, unraveling the left foot, coming onto the left shin, top of the left foot for a low lunge. If this is really intense for you, you can just stay in this low lunge and adjust your weight distribution accordingly. So you can open up this degree of flexion in the knee if it's really intense. Otherwise, we're going to bring our hands to the top of that right knee for starters. And then again, we're going to try to take up space by sending the arms up and overhead, palms facing one another, and maybe finding a little back bend here, just arching back and pressing forward with the hips. Good. As you release, we'll gently rotate toward that right side, bringing the left hand to the outside edge of the left knee. Just twisting, pulling that right shoulder back. Reconnecting with the breath on your inhale. Scoop the hands back up overhead, palms facing one another. Sinking down into that right hip. Nice full breath. And we'll release the palms back to the mat, framing that right foot. We're going to curl the left toes under to send that right foot back for plank. And from your plank, we'll vinyasa one more time. So chaturanga to up dog, or slowly lower all the way to the belly. Pressing into the tops of the feet and extending through the elbows for cobra. Whichever's in your practice. Melting it back down slowly. We'll curl the toes under to press back up for plank. And coming back into our downward dog. Again, check in here, make it your own. Pedal through the feet if you'd like. Look under the shoulder, under the armpit if you'd like. Find your connection to this pose. And then we'll set up for the same thing on the second side. So we'll start by bringing the right foot to the center of the mat. This time sending the left foot up toward the ceiling. Coming into that three-legged dog once again. We'll shift the gaze to between the palms. Bend into that left knee and bring that left foot all the way up and through. Lowering that right knee, unraveling that right foot, coming down to the top of the right foot, right shin. What you did on one side, you can try on the second side. So if this was very intense, you might just stay here in this low lunge. You might also bring your hands to the top of that left knee, finding that nice long spine. And then bring the palms up toward the ceiling, facing one another, really reaching, sending out your branches, sending out your leaves, sinking down into that left hip, maybe coming into a little back bend here. Reconnecting with your natural breathing rhythm. And on your exhale, bringing that right hand to the outside edge of the left knee, twisting to the left side, maybe looking behind your left shoulder, over your left shoulder. Inhale, bring the hands back up overhead, really reaching, taking up space. Maybe sinking down deeper into that left hip, stretching through the front of the right hip. And then we'll gently melt the hands back down, framing that left foot once again. We'll curl the right toes under, lift that right knee off the mat, send the left foot back for plank. We'll vinyasa one last time, whatever that looks like for you. And send the hips up high toward the sky for downward facing dog. Take a second here, catch your breath, make it your own. Maybe shake out the head and hair, the neck, the head and neck, shake out your hair, whatever. And we will slowly walk the fingertips back up toward the feet for that forward fold one more time. Reconnecting with the breath. Maybe remembering your mantra. Maybe embracing growth and change and feeling that healing power of every breath. Good. From here, we're going to walk the toes away from one another, just widening your stance here and letting your toes spill off the mat while your heels stay on. This is just a suggestion. You can adjust accordingly. Your toes should be slightly pointed away from one another, but you can bring your heels closer together if you need to, or further apart if you need to, as we lower the hips to the mat, coming into our yogi squat. Elbows are on the inside of the knees, palms together at the heart space. Reconnecting with the breath, reconnecting with your intention here. Finding a little external rotation in the hips, which we will counter momentarily as we move into gomukhasana. Take a moment just to turn inward. Notice if you're distracted, what's distracting you? Let's observe it, name it, and let it go. Very nice. As we move on, we're going to move into all fours and get into cow face pose from all fours position. So you can get there how you get there. If it's easier just to release your hips to the mat here and cross at the ankles and roll forward, feel free to do that. Either way, I'll meet you in tabletop position, which is a nice neutral spine with palms under the shoulders and knees under the hips. All fours, as we call it. And we're going to move into cow face pose or shoestring pose from here. So to me, this is a more accessible way to get into this pose, which can be difficult and creates a pretty intense stretching sensation in the outer hip. So to get into this, I'm going to bring my right knee forward, kind of under my chest or rib cage. I'm going to lift my left knee off the mat by curling my left toes under, so sort of like you're coming into a plank on the left side. And I'm doing that just so I can slide my right foot over toward the left side of the mat. So it's almost like you're coming into a pigeon pose a little bit. It's just opening that left foot toward that right foot toward the left side of the mat. We'll lower that left knee back down to the mat. And then you're just going to tuck it in behind the right knee. So pulling it in as tight to that back of the right thigh as you can. And then swinging that left foot slightly over to the right side of the mat. So feet kind of moving away from each other. Thighs stacked, tight together. And then we'll walk the hands slowly toward the body as you come down onto your hips. So adjust, feel free to reset. Take as much time as you need to get into this pose. Might be very difficult, but meet your body where it is. And if this is totally inaccessible for you today, move into your favorite pose without judgment. If you're in gomukhasana, I like to have connection between the hands and feet. Just because it's like creates a loop of energy and kind of helps me reground in the body. You can also take a bind with the arms if that's part of your practice, or just rest the hands on the right knee. Whatever feels right. Take a moment just to turn inward and cycle through the breath here. Notice what you feel and where without getting overwhelmed. We're embracing change and growth, which means sometimes we have to do things that are not easy. Take as much time on this side as you'd like. And of course, what we do to one side, we will do to the other. So when you're ready to transition to that second side, do so gently and mindfully. If it's accessible to you, you can walk the hands back behind you and lean back on the hands as you unravel through the legs. I'm just going to come back into that cross-legged seat so that I can come forward onto all fours for the second side. We will do some kind of hip release movements after this, so if you're feeling a little weird after that stretch or a little stiff, don't worry, we'll correct that in just a second. So coming back into that tabletop pose, palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We'll do the same thing on the second side, this time by bringing the left knee, left shin to the midline of the mat, somewhere under your chest, under your ribs, kind of just as forward as it can comfortably go. I'm going to extend through my right knee to come onto my right toes here, just to lift that right knee off the mat so that I can swing my left foot over toward the right side of the mat. We can lower that right knee down once you've done that, and then slide it in behind the left knee, just finding that connection between the top of the right thigh and the back of the left thigh. And then we'll swing that right foot over toward the left. And walk the hands back toward the body as we sit back on the hips. And find your connection to the feet, or take a mudra, or take a bind, or maybe just bring palms together at the heart space, whatever helps you stay connected to your practice, your intention, and your breath. Take your time here just to turn inward, thinking about embracing growth, embracing change, taking those next steps on your healing journey or your spiritual journey, and releasing whatever's distracting you, whatever you don't need here. Maybe remembering or envisioning that beautiful bubble of self-care that you've created for yourself here on the mat. Letting go of your anxieties about the future. Letting go of your attachments or memories of the past. Just taking this time to be here now. Take as much time as you'd like in this pose. And when you're ready to come out, we'll do so gently and mindfully. You can use your hands to assist. We can walk the hands behind us and kind of lean back, sink your weight into them as you unravel the legs. And then you can stay leaned back on the palms here. Just let the knees fall to the left and to the right. Start to feel maybe a gentle massage through the hip flexors, the front of the hip. And we'll continue that gentle massage from our backs. So when you're ready, you can move to the back. Feel free to grab a pillow for under your head or neck. If it feels right, we'll be closing out the practice from here. So you can prepare for that. And Shavasana. As you settle in on your back, you can continue letting the knees fall to the left and to the right from here. If you are experiencing some kind of different sensation, fully reclined. And then when you're ready, we'll just kick the feet up off the ground and bring your fingertips, palms to the front of the knees or the tops of the shins. Just kind of letting that friction between the hands and the knees hold your feet off the floor and letting them dangle. From here you can draw circles with the knees, keeping the toes connected. So big toes stay touching. Pulling the knees in toward the chest, just massaging through the hip. Feel free to reverse those circles or explore in any way that your body's asking you to. And when you feel good about that, we'll come back to that initial position, just letting the feet kind of hang here. And from here, we're just going to bring both knees in toward the chest. Wrap your arms around them, pull them in tightly like you're giving them a big hug. You might rock gently side to side here. And from here, you can take any other easy organic movement that feels right before we settle into our final resting pose. When you feel good about it, when you feel ready, you can reach full extension at the knees, sending the feet down toward the corners of the mat. Coming into Shavasana or corpse pose, opening the palms up toward the ceiling. Reconnecting with the breath and your mantra, if you have one. Checking in once again with the bodies. Noticing if anything feels different. And otherwise, just turning inward here. You might find stillness in the mind, find stillness in the body. You might repeat your mantra to yourself as an affirmation. Or you might start to sink into your closing meditation. Meditation is a huge component of yoga in the traditional sense. We tend to ignore it quite a bit in the Western versions of yoga, but would encourage you to use your yoga practice to set yourself up for intentional meditation time. As we begin to wrap up today's practice, I want to take a moment to recognize that I am leading this practice from former Monongahela and Osage territories. I would encourage you to find out whose indigenous land you're practicing on and how you can support their ongoing struggles for liberation. I'm going to bring my palms together to rest gently at the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. Feel free to join me there if it feels right. Otherwise, stay where you are, take a mudra, place the hands on the body, whatever helps you feel connected. I want to recognize that yoga is an ancient spiritual practice that comes from India and Indian culture. So we always recognize and honor that cultural heritage without appropriation. Yoga is so much more than movement, stretching, or exercise, including a community. I thank you so much for being part of my community today. I hope you got something you needed here today, and I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.